All right, good evening and welcome to the 12th Annual Distinguished Alumni Celebration. Tonight we are excited to celebrate the accomplishments of 4 amazing Parkland graduates: Dr. Lindsay Beagle, Dr. John Pfeiffer, Captain Jonathan Steed, and Pat Stewart. Tonight is all about you. You deserve to be the center of attention, and we are so Parkland proud to be honoring you this evening. Tonight we connect the past with the present. We are recognizing the best of the best and giving our current students a blueprint for success. Your personalized photo plaques are officially on display outside of the library. I'll be dusting them off every morning for you after I do mine. And they're a constant reminder to the 3,200 students that grace our hallowed halls to seize the day. And if you haven't seen your pictures yet, Frank Mittman made you look really good. Even you, Dr. Pfeiffer, you look really good. The 4 of you are now in rarefied air, and this is truly one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments. While it would not surprise me if Lindsay wins the Nobel Prize, or John wins the Presidential Freedom Award, or Dr. Pfeiffer gets inducted into the Parkland Athletic Hall of Fame, or Pat gets yet another CFO of the Year award, this is the mountaintop here, the Parkland Distinguished Wall of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, enjoy the show. I now would like to introduce Lisa Irvin. Lisa is the director of the Education Foundation.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day, and I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you. I am the director of the Parkland Education Foundation, and we gather every year to celebrate some truly distinguished alumni who have gotten to the top of their fields and truly given back to their communities. The mission of the Parkland Education Foundation is to keep the excellence that Parkland is known for. But what does that mean? The definition of excellence is the quality of being outstanding. The Parkland School District, as with many other school districts, faces challenges as government funding changes, the demographics of Parkland change. We are currently at 32% free and reduced lunch, which I think is a number that's very shocking for Parkland residents to hear. You're talking 1 out of every 4 students, more than 1 out of every 4 students is at or below the poverty line. And the cost and demand for services continue to rise. To be excellent, you look at your challenges and you not only face them, but you excel in light of them. As a school district, to excel beyond a traditional education, we need to provide opportunities that allow kids to learn above and beyond the standard. How do we do that? The teachers and staff at Parkland are some of the best. And they come up with amazing ideas of how we can take our Parkland curriculum to the next level. The Education Foundation asks them to submit grants, and every year we choose the best, most impactful grants. This past year we funded 104 grants totaling $207,000. We couldn't do what we do without the help of each and every one of you. Investing in education is an investment and a belief that the future will be brighter. A huge thank you to St. Luke's, who is our title sponsor of this event. They have been such an amazing partner and have helped us provide so many great opportunities for our students. I also want to thank the Parkland administration. The superintendents are here with us tonight. We couldn't do what we do without the support and vision of our administrative team. Lastly, I'd like to thank my amazing volunteers, both my foundation board members and my volunteers that are here. We have some of the best volunteers, and we couldn't do what we do without you. So thank you. We are lucky to have you. I'll now turn it back over to our MC, Mr. Eric Roberts, who is the best MC there is.
Getting paid very well for this. Take a sip out of my Ironton Internet and Telephone Company mug. Keeps the water very cold. I too have actually seen these grants in action at the high school, and such wonderful things are happening here. I would now like to introduce the president of the Education Foundation, very good friend, Tori Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so great to be there this evening. Again, my name's Tori Morgan, and I have the pleasure and honor to be the board president of this amazing team of volunteers and board members. I can't tell you what an amazing group of people they are. Their passion and dedication to this school district and this Parkland community goes up and beyond. This is my second year in this role, and I am so proud of what we've been able to accomplish and the partnerships we've created along the way. I am the proud parent, along with my husband, Jeff, of 2 Parkland graduates, my son, Sam, and my daughter, Jillian. And I have the honor and privilege to say they have done amazing things with their lives, and not just because of their upbringing, but because of the family they found right here in Parkland. They live and breathe Parkland still to this day, and for that, we are just so very grateful. The 4 distinguished alumni here tonight were chosen by a select group of Parkland administrators, foundation board members, and community volunteers. They are here because they have used their Parkland education and take it to the highest levels. During tonight's program, we will be inducting 4 very distinguished Parkland alumni into the Wall of Honor at the Parkland High School, just like Eric had mentioned. With the addition of these plaques, there will be 63 distinguished alumni plaques hanging on the wall outside of the high school library. I hope you guys all take a couple minutes to go see each and every one of them. Tonight's honorees share some amazing career accomplishments, exceptional volunteer work, and acts of service, and they have had a positive impact on their communities. Needless to say, they're just amazing individuals, and we're so proud to have you all here tonight. Congratulations again to tonight's very distinguished alumni. They are truly some of Parkland's finest. So many amazing accomplishments, all stemming from a great public school education. Our goal is to continue to give great opportunities to help our current students achieve their highest potential. If you feel inspired to give, don't forget to check out our online auction. I know everybody's waiting until 10 of 8 because that's when you're waiting for the final bids. So don't forget to check that out. And we have so many great items for all of you that the proceeds go directly back to our programs, to our students, and our staff. I want to thank everybody again for being here this evening and for being such a special part of Parkland.
Thank you, Tori. The Parkland Education Foundation has given the TV studio over $100,000 since it first started. These students are able to have such amazing opportunities. They're led by their teacher, Jay Greth, John Steed's senior English teacher. We'll get to that later. We're always very impressed with the work these high school students are able to do. So sit back, relax, and watch a video that our own Parkland High School TV students put together.
My name is Lisa Irvin. I'm the director of the Parkland Education Foundation. The Parkland Education Foundation started in 2011. We are a nonprofit that supports the Parkland School District. We raise funds all year long to fund staff grants. So really any staff member in the Parkland School District can apply for a grant. Each year we've been able to fund more and more, which we really appreciate. And that's due to our tremendous community support.
Last year, the kindergarten team had put in a grant for decodable readers. As a kindergarten teacher, one of the greatest joys I find is teaching students how to read, instill that love for reading. It's been really beneficial for our kindergarten students.
We did in kindergarten so I could know how to read.
Do you love reading?
Yeah.
We teach a lot of things about watching, listening, and focusing, which is an important part of all academics. So having a grant has been able to help us get a lot of different kinds of instruments for all of our students to be able to use and enjoy in the music room.
I'm the editor-in-chief of the Trumpet newspaper, which is the Parkland School newspaper.
The grants have definitely made the life in the newspaper definitely easier, because last year it would typically take us 3 weeks to make the newspaper. It was just so much work. But now at the Max, we can make it in a week. And plus everybody can work on it. It doesn't have to be me. So it's definitely been a lot easier.
We've already exceeded our publication from last year by a sizable margin.
So you can see with the right tools, the kids are able to produce much faster. And then we also started the Blair podcast.
I am the podcast host of The Blair. We invite a bunch of different guests onto our podcast and try to incorporate all 3 pillars of Parkland: the athletics, academics, arts, and really just highlight the diversity and community in the Parkland School District.
The
Parkland Education Foundation grants have allowed students to have the opportunity to use equipment they otherwise wouldn't have access to.
These grants have really allowed us to express our full range of creativity, reach our potential as filmmakers, and that is something that's really special to me, and that's why I think these grants really helped out the studio.
I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. We are so thankful.
We would definitely love to thank.
Definitely grateful.
We are all very appreciative.
It's just a great thanks from a Parkland High School student and from all of my fellow students, not just in the studio, but around the school.
Huge thank you to the Parkland Education Foundation. They're allowing us to have all this equipment that, really no one normally in a high school without the backing of a school or some other organization could really have access to. And again, it ties them back to really giving kids the opportunity to do things they really can't without the help of the school and the Education Foundation.
I've seen firsthand what good education can do, and I'm a proud Parkland parent myself by focusing on education and good education for the community. I believe that we can make the world a better place.
Again, just some of the amazing work Mr. Greth does with his television studio students. Okay, the moment of truth has arrived. I did really a deep dive into all of these alums here, spend time on the phone with them, visiting with them, so we're ready to roll. Our first distinguished alumni that I'd like to introduce is Dr. Lindsay Beagle, Parkland High School class of 2000. Lindsay came to Parkland in 9th grade from the Allentown School District. She was in the first class to graduate from the new Parkland High School in the scary year of 2000 when the world was supposed to end at midnight on New Year's Eve. Well, Lindsay not only survived the year 2000, she thrived. Surviving Coach Bob Clark's swim practices could be another story for most. Some students called it like Navy SEAL training. But I spoke to Coach Clark last week. I told you, Lindsay, I did my homework. And he described Lindsay as a phenom in the 10 and under swim world at Stonecrest Swim Club, where to this day, Lindsay still holds the 25-meter, 50-meter, and 100-meter backstroke records. It's been over 30 years, 91 and 93, since she swam there. So later on, I may double dog dare Lindsay at the country club after a few cocktails. All right, let's go. Let's hit the pool. I actually took the liberty of printing out the records for the Stonecrest Swim Club. They are legit. And in case she does want to race tonight, I have some Parkland swim caps, other Parkland swim apparel. He's going to verify the records right here. Is that on the refrigerator? I'm a K-Brook parent. That was hard for me to say without Stonecrest there. Coach Clark remembers Lindsay as a great teammate and a great kid who was high energy and a tireless worker. He also mentioned how mentally tough she was. Lindsay, stop looking at your records. How mentally tough she was, which obviously served her well. In high school, now we're going to go old school here, Lindsay's biology teacher, Dwayne Aschenfelder, and her chemistry teacher, Ken Saltern, helped to instill in Lindsay the passion for science. And oh, where this passion took her. Bachelor's degree in biology with a minor in chemistry and anthropology from Bloomsburg University. I now officially can't make fun of Bloomsburg tonight because my wife's here, she went to Bloom, and that's out the window now. Master's degree in biochemistry and molecular biology from the Wake Forest School of Medicine, and a PhD in biochemistry from the Wake Forest School of Medicine. Lindsay is currently the Senior Director, Digital Chemistry, Manufacturing, and Controls at Merck. Now, I could go into specific detail about the intricacies of Lindsay's job, as I went to the University of Pittsburgh and I have a working knowledge of everything in the universe. But some of you went to Penn State and I'd be talking way above your IQ level, so let's just say that Lindsay's accomplishments in her field are extraordinary. But what really stands out to me is Lindsay's work in diversity, equity, and inclusion, where she's a leader for the inclusion of women in the workforce, equity at home, and inclusion of a career portfolio for women with various industry experience. Lindsay's involvement in the charitable organization Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep is beyond heartwarming. I encourage all of you to further explore this organization, as it will allow you to see just how amazing Lindsay is. If I start talking about this now, the entire room would get emotional, so would I, so you can look it up on your phones. Now, it's well known that I have an insatiable sweet tooth. So in doing my deep dive into Lindsay's post-high school life, I found that she ventured into the world of cake baking and decorating for a minute. I was hoping to have a Lindsay Beagle cake station here, but she told me she left that world, sadly, and she left it to dabble in monoclonal antibodies and to spearhead novel protein strategies. I know you Penn Staters Googling that right now. I personally think the protein structure of buttercream icing is much more interesting, Lindsay, but you did what you did. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to sit back and watch this short video of Lindsay.
Can you tell me your name and graduation year?
Sure. Lindsay Beagle, 2000. So I was the first class in this school to graduate from this, actually the new high school.
Can you give us a quick summary of what you've done with your time at Merck?
So right now I'm the Senior Director of Digital Chemistry, Manufacturing Controls. So I am leading an area that's looking at digitizing how we manufacture our clinical and commercial supplies.
So what was your time at Parkland like when you were here?
So I grew up in the 80s and I was a child of the 90s. So at Parkland, I was in the old high school for the first couple years, and then I ended up in the new high school in the times before we had cell phones and any access to all of the things that we have now. So it was a large sense of community. I was a swimmer, so I was a part of the athletic area within there, and really enjoyed being able to be part of the community with the athletic piece, but then also all of the other times that I had at Parkland with the more academic, focused area. It was fun because, again, we were the first graduating class here, so we got to be part of the old high school and part of the new high school. I think some of us were a little hesitant to come to the new space, but it was a really fun senior year, kind of getting to be, well, also the class of 2000, which was a big year and a big celebration. So that was a really fun year that we had.
What was your favorite memory at Parkland?
Okay, so I think favorite memory at Parkland comes down to part of the swim team and the sense of community and collaboration that we had together as a team, and just the amount of fun that we had coming together and being part of that athletic piece at Parkland, which I know Parkland is a big school with athletics, but it really came down to that sense of community that we had. I think also other great memories are just having our friends again, and I think that senior year here, coming back to that and being able to be that first class and have some of the special pieces of being the graduating class of 2000. They definitely treated us a little bit differently, I think, that year, because we were the first year, and we had some special events since we were that millennial class, I guess, per se.
Who is your most memorable teacher?
So Mr. Aschenfelder, by far, he was biology. I think I thought that I maybe wanted to go into the sciences, was rather unsure, and then I had him and he made it exciting. So he has always stuck out in my mind as somebody who was influential in where I wanted to go in my career. And while I went to college not knowing if I wanted to go to med school or grad school or where exactly I wanted to go with biology, I at least knew that he gave me the foundation to wanting to go into the sciences. So I'll give him. And Mr. Saltern, he was a chemistry teacher, and he was a little tough. And I remember that, but I ended up having a degree in chemistry also. So he also paved the way for me to challenge myself, I think, beyond where I normally would, and that resulted in where I am in my career now. So
thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on being awarded as a Distinguished Alumni.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be part of the group of distinguished alumni here at Parkland.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to present to you 2024 Distinguished Alumni, Lindsay Beagle.
Weird seeing yourself on TV. I have a little thing, but I tried to not read off of paper, just try to keep myself on track here. But
So thank you for having me. Thank you for inducting me into the Distinguished Alumni. It's an exciting time, and I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a story. I know I only have 3 minutes. I said that I will not have the Oscar music playing. I know there's somebody in the piano out there that could start it up, so I'll stick to my 3 minutes. But I kind of wanted to explain, I think, a little bit more of the foundational aspects as to why I'm here and what brought me here and some of those intersections along the way. I want to start with a story about insights. It's this assessment you can take, and it kind of gives you this insight to how you consciously and subconsciously think. And I took this with about 30 colleagues, I want to say about 2 years ago or so, and basically the output is this, you get kind of this color wheel, and it gives you your dominant strengths and then all the way down to your least dominant areas. And so when we took this assessment, we all ended up in one room together, and I was the only person who had this very specific color wheel come out. And not only was that color wheel specific, but the color wheel is supposed to have this kind of Pareto of what it's supposed to look like. Your other colors are supposed to lean on each other and those things. And somehow I ended up with 2 colors that were the exact same dominance, which is not supposed to happen at all. And those were red and yellow. So it was interesting that I was that color wheel in general, but that red and yellow being the same exact dominance, and it kind of sounds a little counterintuitive. If you think red, you're thinking of, fiery red, which is exactly what it means. It's, I forget what the definition was, but it was something like, be here, be brief, be gone, kind of how I work at work. Tell me what needs to be done, let's move, let's go. And then you have this sunshine yellow. And again, going from red to having this exact same color of yellow, of this sunshiny, collaborative, impactful, kind of way that apparently sits within me. And when I was thinking about this speech tonight and just accepting it, that yellow piece kind of stuck out to me, and I just wanted to give some explanation to that. And immediately as I thought of the yellow, I went to my childhood bedroom, and I had this beautifully yellow childhood bedroom growing up, and it overlooked my neighborhood in Allentown in 18th and Pennsylvania Street. And on a nice warm August night, you could hear whatever was happening at the Allentown Fair and get a little concert out of that. But that yellow kind of came back to that, and I think that's where I really honed in on that was the foundation. And it wasn't my bedroom that was the foundation, but my family, my mom and my sister, that really became the foundational aspects of exactly who I am today. And I think those red, yellow, and blue and green pieces that exist on that color wheel. I think if anybody knows my mom, if she would have been in the room with me when I took that assessment, I think she would have ended up with the exact same color wheel that I ended up. But a lot of that has translated through having that foundation of both, wanting to be driven and motivated while at the same time impactful and collaborative. And some of that came through with the swimming. And I think swimming was a good one for me. I could be very dedicated to myself and what I needed to do for, that event, but at the same time working with a team. And those intersections, that started actually pretty early. I guess I was 8 or 9 when I started with WET and Bob Clark, and as now we've seen I still hold records, so that's pretty amazing, at least at Stonecrest Swim Club. But those intersections kind of started to come in when I came to Parkland, and I had that unique experience at Parkland where I came from Allentown School District, I was in 9th grade, and I was still able to go to the high school to take my biology and chemistry classes. And kind of as explained in some of the video and some of the other pieces, it was the first time that I think I realized that I really liked something that was complex and was curious and also could make an impact to the community. So I think some of those foundational pieces at Parkland really brought me, in through my career, but also along with the swimming piece, was able to make sure that I was having challenging myself and kind of putting the impact to where I wanted to put it. So a big piece of this isn't all the accolades in my mind. It's not everything that I've done in my career, everywhere that I've gone and all of those pieces, but just kind of the impact that I've been able to make back to the community. And I think that that's one of the biggest pieces, is that I've always been driven to make a difference, whether it's sitting on school boards or as a scientist or as a friend or as a mom. And I think those foundational pieces intersected with what I was able to capture from Parkland really got me there. And you know, I know that we talked about Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. I will not bring up exactly what that is, but that was a foundational moment, I think, in my life. When I was 28, I became a mom, and 28 days later, from my 28th birthday, I became a mom again, which sounds very confusing, and yes, it was twins, and yes, they were born at different times. But it created a situation where I stepped back from my career for a period of time because I had a child who was very sick, and I had also lost a child. So at that point, I was able to also figure out what I needed to do for myself, but I was also given the opportunity to give back to the community, and Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, and starting to help with some of the photography for parents who are grieving, and some of those, you know, also doing other photography moments, and not just industry moments. Anyway, the career diversity of all the things that I've done, the common theme really is the fact that I've always wanted to give back and just have an impact anywhere that I can be. My greatest achievement is being a mom. So my 3 kids are back there, Ellie, Emma, and May. 3 girls getting into the high school teenage years, which is going to get interesting. But really, again, that foundation came from my mom and my sister and translated itself through Parkland. So thank you for having me as a distinguished alumni. I appreciate enjoying the diversity of my experience and the things that I've been able to give back to the community and some of my story. So I appreciate all of you and everybody who also came to sit here and see me today. My husband, my stepdad, my Aunt Nancy, and my sister Janelle and Mom, who I've said a couple times, but they're there, so thank you.
We look forward to Lindsay setting the backstroke record tonight at the Country Club, the senior division. All right, our second distinguished alumni is Dr. John Pfeiffer, Parkland High School class of 1979. John's journey to distinguished alumni status took him from the Ironton Elementary School to Troxel Junior High School to the old Parkland High School. After high school, when I think of John's journey, I'm reminded of the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. John took his academic talents across our great country, where he spent a healthy time sampling colleges, including Penn State, this could take a while, North Carolina State, Lehigh Carbon Community College, Kutztown, Wilkes, East Stroudsburg, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, University of Alaska Juneau campus, Wesleyan University, Lehigh University, and the University of Colorado. Luckily for us, after spending time serving his country in the United States Marine Corps and 8 years teaching at Quakertown and the Lehigh Career and Technical Institute, John came home to Parkland, where over a span of 26 years, he became the man many refer to as Mr. Parkland. In his teaching days, no one could relate to students better than John. Whether it was an advanced placement computer science student or a student learning a trade at LCTI, John was able to have a positive impact. He went above and beyond for his students, helping many of them get employed long after they graduated. John could simply pick up the phone, call one of his many contacts in business and industry, and they were taken care of. John was always very student-centered and a champion of career and technical education. And trust me, John knows everybody in the Parkland community, and I mean everyone. He's truly the unofficial mayor. When John entered the world of public school administration, he made such a positive impact on younger staff members, oftentimes taking the roles of mentor, counselor, spiritual advisor, and for some, father figure. John's involvement in education went well beyond the regular school day. John has served as the wrestling coach, a chess team advisor, and the coach of our fitness team, where John was voted the 2007 National United States Marine Corps Fitness Coach of the Year. In typical John Pfeiffer fashion, as someone who is very well traveled, remember the list of colleges, and into exploring different cultures, it was not enough to take the fitness team to the national championships in San Diego, California. John wanted to give him the full West Coast experience, so he took him south of the border to Tijuana. I signed a non-disclosure agreement to not discuss this trip, but one of John's, or Juan Pablo as they refer to him in Tijuana, one of his former fitness team members, Matthew Knocker, is in the crowd today, so feel free to interrogate him about Tijuana. Times were different in 2002. Let's just leave it at that. They were well-versed. You didn't know Juan Pablo. In the Parkland School District, there are so many events going on after school hours, and there's a need for staff to cover a plethora of events. No matter the event, you can find John there in a slew of roles: game manager, scorekeeper, announcer. He's actually the second best announcer in this room. Security, you name it, he's done it. John's volunteer experience is also extensive. He works with the Boys and Girls Club of Allentown, the Andre Reed Foundation, the Turkey Wildlife Foundation, the Parkettes, the Parkland Education Foundation. He's a board member with the National Marine Corps Youth Fitness Foundation, and he recently returned from a mission trip to Honduras. At the tail end of John's career, he was the director and head principal of the Parkland Cyber Learning Program, a program that he personally started and built into a top-notch program serving hundreds of kids per year. The program deterred Parkland students from leaving for another cyber program, thus saving the district approximately $400,000 a year. No one epitomizes Parkland pride like John Pfeiffer. He's an amazing husband and father whose generosity knows no bounds. Over the span of his career, John has positively impacted thousands of students and staff members. I am fortunate to call John a trusted and valued friend. As a student at Parkland, John was a top-notch wrestler and soccer player. So I thought to myself, gosh, what can I do for John, and even more so Karen? So I figure John's retired, and when he's sitting around cleaning the house, he can spice things up. Wear his old wrestling singlet. Got some soccer shorts. Karen, you're welcome. They're yours to keep, John. We don't need those back. Let's see. So again, you're welcome, Karen. Next time you come home, just wait. And I always thought to myself, when I retire in 4 years ago, one of my goals is to give back. Like Lindsay talks about giving back and running for school board, and I remember having a conversation with Dave Jandal and saying to myself, yeah, I think I'll set the record for the number of votes. And Dave started laughing at me and said, now if John Pfeiffer runs, you do realize then you'll be in second place. So that I can live with that. Ladies and gentlemen, please watch this video of Dr. John Pfeiffer.
My name is John Pfeiffer, and I graduated from Parkland in 1979.
You've been involved with Parkland for a lot of your life. What would you say is your favorite memory here with Parkland?
Favorite memory probably was being involved with all the activities that I did in high school. I was on the wrestling team. I was on Parkland's soccer team. I was on the fitness team. I was in Leo Club and the varsity club.
How would you say that Parkland as a district has changed since you grew up here?
You know, the district has changed drastically. There are many more opportunities for the students today. It's phenomenal, all the different electives and just participating in college courses. We didn't have that back when I went to school. All the different clubs and activities, there's quadrupled the amount today compared to what I had. And I've noticed in all the years that I've worked here, everybody seems to get along. And it's one big Parkland family.
How would you say your career has shaped your perception of education?
It took me 6.5 years to get through college. I started out in aerospace engineering, went through officer school for 2 summers, and then decided to get into education with math. I started out in math education.
Is there a specific reason that you wanted to get into education?
My experience in education here was phenomenal, and I just wanted to give back to the school and to the community that helped me.
Why do you think it's so important to get involved and help our community?
Since I retired a year ago, I've done more volunteering work. I'm on the Education Foundation. I've gone on mission trips. I was in Honduras in January. I just think it's good to give back and help out, especially now, because I think a lot of students are really unsure and of themselves, and it's good to help out.
As a teacher, you're supposed to teach the students and mold their minds. Has there ever been an experience where the students have taught you something?
You never really know what impact you make on a student until maybe a few years or many years after they graduate. There are times you want to give up and you say, why am I doing this? And it's when students get back to you later on that you say this was worth it. This was you know, I'm glad I did this as a career. It's nice to hear from the students that you've had in the past. You don't realize what impact you may have made on some students until after they graduate.
What would you say are some of the most valuable traits that you can take with you through your life?
I think commitment, passion, and devotion. I think those are the three things that come to my mind off the bat. One thing I can tell everybody, be persistent. If you graduate and you don't know for sure what you want to do, that's okay. It will change.
Thank you again for speaking with us today, and congratulations on being a recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. John Pfeiffer, 2024 Parkland High School Distinguished Alumni.
We got a red jacket?
We're working on it. We're working on the red jacket.
I thank everybody. I want to thank everybody that came out, my friends, family. One of the things that I was thinking about, and Lindsay, your yearbook was color, mine was black and white. Another difference between the two. You know, it took me a long time to get through school. The only reason I went to college, I wanted to be a pilot in the Marines. That's the only reason why I went to college. And that ended up not happening. I ended up going into education full time, and I'm glad I did that. I still do a lot of things with the Marines and the Marine Corps Youth Foundation, which is real nice. That's something that's a passion to me. I just came back for the last 2 days in Washington, D.C., and I was there with the Marine Youth Foundation at an expo for the modern day Marine. And that was absolutely amazing to see what's going on with the military and all these companies that coming in looking to sell their wares to our, not just our government. There were probably 20 different countries that were there where all these generals were looking and seeing what's there. And you know, I really have to devote and credit my parents, my mom and my dad. My dad, I think, came to every one of my sporting events, every one of my wrestling meets, soccer matches. He came to everything. One time he missed because I think he had gallstones or something, if I remember correctly. He was in the hospital. But other than that, my father always was there. He was, to me, the best teacher I ever had. He could fix anything. He was an amazing person. And he's been gone a long time, and I miss him a lot. And my friends, I've got a lot of friends that came here. Thank you very much for coming out. And I tell the kids, you know, be the best that you can. And don't wait until it's too late to help volunteer. I've done more volunteering things now, but I've been involved with a lot of things with the school district prior to even retiring. So, you know, anybody here, take the opportunity, volunteer. It's needed now more than ever. And, you know, thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Our next distinguished alumni is Jonathan Steed, Parkland High School class of 2008. John's journey to distinguished alumni status took him from Parkway Manor Elementary School to Springhouse Middle School to good old Parkland High School. I had a conversation with John a few weeks back, and the more we spoke, the more I realized that I was speaking to the real-life Captain America. I'm not joking around. John is a graduate of the University of New Haven in Connecticut with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Fire Service Administration and a Master's of Science in Emergency Management. John is also a graduate of the United States Marine Corps Officer School, specializing in combat engineering officer training. John is currently a fire marshal and investigator for the City of Allentown Fire Department. In 2020, he won the Allentown Firefighters Heroism Award. John is a captain in the United States Marine Corps. He is a special ops team member with the following technical skills: hazardous materials, underwater recovery diver. He's also Aquaman, obviously. Bomb squad, combat engineering, emergency medical technician, and swiftwater rescue, and special weapons and tactics training. John is also a fire academy instructor. He's a contributor to Fire Engineering Magazine, a member of the National Association of Fire Investigators, a member of the International Association of Arson Investigators, a master scuba diver, and he also participates in safety training at Parkland High School. Again, Captain America. It was at Parkland where John's passion for firefighting was first ignited. In our science curriculum, we have a class titled The Science of Firefighting, a class started by Parkland distinguished alum Barry Search. John enrolled in that course as a high school junior with absolutely no idea that firefighting would be a potential career interest, and the rest is history. John was also an Eagle Scout in high school, volunteered at the Woodlawn Fire Company, and played in the Parkland High School band under the direction of Jason LaRue. Like most superheroes, Captain America Steed had his adversary, John's being his senior English teacher, Mr. Jay Greth, who played the role of Thanos to Captain America, if you know the Avengers. So many times Thanos or Mr. Greth would snap his fingers and John would appear out in the hallway. Obviously, Mr. Greth did not get his advanced sense of humor. I heard something today about a book and a quarter or some game, John, but that's very intricate details on that. A football coach once shared the following words of wisdom with our team. He said, "No one's coming to save you. Get up and be your own hero." Well, that coach obviously never met John Steed. So now let's sit back and watch Mr. Greth produce PNN video. Hopefully there's no sabotage here.
My name is John Steed. I'm a fire marshal with the Allentown Fire Department, and I'm a captain of the United States Marine Corps, a combat engineer officer.
How long have you been here?
I've been here 10, almost 11 years.
So did Parkland help at all with you pursuing this career?
Absolutely. It put the idea in my head originally. The science of firefighting class was instrumental in me following this career path.
So you didn't have any idea before that you wanted to go into firefighting?
I didn't have any idea. That class cemented it for me. It really opened my eyes to even the possibility that it being a thing.
Is that your favorite memory from Parkland?
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you feel about being inducted into the Distinguished Alumni?
Oh, it's a great honor. I'm very humbled by the opportunity, and I'm very, very appreciative, very fortunate.
Do you have any advice for Parkland students in general, or Parkland students who want to get involved in firefighting?
Absolutely. I would say, remember the phrase, fortune favors the bold. So if you find something you're passionate about, absolutely go for it. There's nothing but opportunity, and you can make it happen if you choose to.
That's awesome, thank you. So what does your job entail as a fire marshal?
So my job entails fire inspections. So I inspect areas of occupancy, so daycares, restaurants, large theaters, that sort of thing. I make sure that they're fire code compliant, and then when fires come in, I assist the firemen in putting it out, and then I investigate it. So if there's any crimes that have been committed, arson for example, I investigate it. I'll send samples out and work with the detective bureau to make sure it gets taken care of.
What does it take to become a fire marshal?
Fire marshal is a lieutenant grade promotion, so you need 5 years as a firefighter, and then you take a promotional test based on the responsibilities of this job, see if you're a good fit. So there's a test, there's an interview, and then you have a problem set that you need to solve in front of the chiefs.
How did your journey take you to this position as fire marshal?
Well, I really enjoyed being a firefighter, and I drove Engine 9, the rescue that goes citywide, so there was a bunch of responsibility, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed being a part of all the special teams, so the hazmat team and a bomb team. So I was ready for a new challenge, and this job affords me great opportunities because you're independent, you can help out the firefighters and other special teams. You have your own vehicle, so you can be very, very useful in this position, and I was ready for a new challenge.
I know you're part of the bomb squad too. What does that entail?
Yeah, the bomb squad, we mitigate and we render safe devices that we find. So a lot of times it's grandpa passed away, found a grenade in the attic, or people will come across old mining equipment, blasting caps and such. And we're also a regional task force that handles people that build their own devices for potential harm.
Thank you so much for showing us around and for teaching us about your job, and congratulations again.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'm honored.
All right, there's only one item that is appropriate for John, and it's non-Parkland related, but it has to have the Captain America shirt. Mr. Gopin told me extra large, just so he was in charge of the sizing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome up to the podium the 2024 Distinguished Alumni, John Steed.
Mr. Greth really didn't sabotage me in that one. I think I got off easy. Good evening, esteemed guests, family, friends, educators, and my fellow distinguished alumni. I'd like to first and foremost thank Parkland School District for hosting this event, as well as taking such an interest in the accomplishments of former students and staff. I feel all the more honored to have graduated from this district, knowing that the educators take such a level of pride in the students they've impacted over the years. I'd like to thank my parents, Wendy and David, for setting me up for success by choosing Parkland when I was a mere kindergartner. You provided an excellent core foundation, and you still allowed me to experience life and make my own mistakes when appropriate. One or two. I'd like to thank Sophie for always being there for me, being an absolute saint and tolerating my wild and irregular hours that I often work. A special recognition, if I may, for my mother and neighbor Lisa, who submitted my consideration package without my knowledge. Without my knowledge, they asked for an updated resume because I've been so busy with my classes lately. Well played, very, very good. I will get you back for this for sure. Just kidding. I'd like to take a moment to share with you how Parkland has had a direct influence on my life's journey. I can say with the utmost sincerity, assure you that I would not be in my extremely rewarding career if it was not for the Science of Firefighting class held here at BHS. I'll spare you the details, but I'll say at one time, Mr. Roberts alluded to it, I wasn't the most focused high school student. I know it's hard to imagine. I was an aspiring psychologist, and I would have been just horrible at that job. It would not have went well. I drifted into this firefighting elective class to see what it was all about. I met legendary coach Barry Search, who, if I'm not mistaken, he's taught here for approximately 90 years. Barry has also been a longtime chief with the Woodlawn Volunteer Fire Department. I quickly became interested in the subject matter, and he asked me to attend a Monday night training. Now, I eventually did go home after that training. It was just 13 years later. I even volunteered my services with Woodlawn for about 8 years while I was a career firefighter because I loved it so much. Barry, thank you for being such a mentor to me for all these years. This class is directly responsible for the entrance, this class is directly responsible for my entrance into this career, which has been such a blessing to me. Parkland, I thank you for that. I would also encourage any young person who is searching for a worthwhile pursuit to consider fire EMS or something similar. It affords you a great level of perspective. It's often not possessed by other young people. In other words, working with people in the midst of real trauma makes life's minor inconveniences seem less important, because they are less important. I'm going to get a bit philosophical for the kids. For the students and the younger people coming up in the world today, I would offer you one last piece of advice that I picked up in my journey thus far. Your childhood and early adult years are so often full of confusion, apprehension, and uncertainty. Choosing which career to work towards, picking a degree path, how to prioritize your life goals, all of these choices are extremely stressful, and for good reason. These decisions directly affect your day-to-day existence and often determine the trajectory of your life. My advice is this: do not make the pursuit of happiness the ultimate goal in your life. Aim above yourself. Work as hard as you possibly can with others in mind first. Because when the storm of life hits you, when you're facing tragedy, adversity, or despair, money, degrees, or social standings will likely not be enough to get you through. Finding a sense of purpose in this life is the key to withstanding hard times with true resolve. In the military, we do this by seeking and accepting responsibility. Shoulder the heaviest load you can bear willingly, and you will be assured, unequivocally, that your efforts were worthwhile. In this noble pursuit, you will find your happiness. Thank you all for coming. Good night.
Thank you, John. And last but not least, it's my pleasure to introduce Pat Stewart, Parkland High School class of 1961. Pat had quite the unique journey through Parkland. She attended Ironton Elementary School for grades K through 5 and Schnecksville for 6th grade. Grades 7 through 12 were spent at the old high school, which is now OMS. There were a total of 1,200 students, mixing 7th graders and 12th graders, which Pat said was probably not the best idea. I sat with Pat a few weeks back. Shameless plug again. I was mesmerized by her work ethic, her tenacity, her kindness, her grace, her sense of humor, and her overall character. At Parkland High School, we have an initiative called Character Counts, where we implement strategies and resources to improve and build students' character. Well, here's how Pat's character was built. In elementary school, Pat woke at the crack of dawn to help feed the family's chickens and turkeys. She would then come home from school and slaughter them. You're scaring John right there. You gotta eat, John, you're right. She walked a quarter mile to and from the bus stop every day, regardless of the weather, and that's when it actually snowed. All right, it really snowed back then. When Pat hit the teen years, her father taught her the art of picking up 100-pound feed bags. Yes, I said 100 pounds. Carrying them to the barn and stacking them 6 high. 100 pounds. She told me it's all about technique. So with 6 girls in the house and 2 boys, Pat was treated like one of the boys. So at this point in my discussion with Pat, I was just thinking to myself how soft I was as a middle school student. Pat also dug ditches, picked vegetables from the garden, and blanched them, and climbed the apple tree to pick apples. She lived through the polio outbreak in 1952 and the flu pandemic in 1957, when the superintendent used to actually call her house to see how many kids could come to school that day, to see if they would have enough students to open the school. Pat, just so you know, when my daughter's sick, Dr. Madsen never calls my house. I'm just saying. In high school, corporal punishment was still in vogue. And the good old barber strap was the preferred method. I won't tell anyone, I'll keep that secret, who used that. Actually, I think Dr. Manati used to use that in Saucon Valley when she taught English, but then it went away. The staff actually knew better than to discipline Pat, as her arms were seriously jacked from the 100-pound feed bags. No joke, she had to wear long sleeve shirts, and I researched this so as not to embarrass the boys. Like, true story. She actually, I don't know if you remember this, Pat, she hit a flex for me when we were sitting across from each other at Ironton. I slowly started hiding my arms and going under. So she still got it. When I relayed this story with one of our football coaches and powerlifting coaches, Mike Fasciano, he said, "Oh, she's in. She's honorary." So Pat, you're now an honorary member of the Parkland powerlifting team. You'd probably also place with the little sissies we have on our team this year, so. Okay, so to say Pat's school years were a character building would be an understatement. At Parkland, Pat was in the 4-H club, where she sewed, gardened, and showed horses while competing with them as well. I believe distinguished alumni Donna Stelko was also in the 4-H club in high school, and her motto was stitching and bitching. But Pat, I imagine you did much more stitching than bitching, just knowing you. Pat enjoyed history and geography, and despite her feats of strength with the 100-pound bags, Pat loved and still loves dressing up and coordinating her outfits. She was dressed to the nines when I met with her and perfectly coordinated. It was awesome. Purple outfit, I still remember it, Pat. Hope you don't think that's weird. In 1966, Pat joined the family business, Ironton Telephone Global Telecommunications, to learn and expand her accounting capabilities. She's been married to the company ever since, currently serving as the president and the CFO. Pat and her late husband, Richard, were dedicated members of the Grange. Richard was the Grand Master, and Pat was the recording secretary. Pat has been with the Grange since 1965, and her biggest job each year was the creation of the Allentown Fair exhibits to provide the importance of farming to families and to fair attendees. Pat is also a member of the Upper Lehigh Historical Society. Pat has always valued education. She made this clear when we met. And penmanship. Remember, this is a woman who honed her craft at a desk with an inkwell, she told me. And she has helped to put so many of her family through college, and Ironton Telephone has donated over $55,000 to the Parkland Education Foundation. In 2013, Pat received the Lehigh Valley Business CFO of the Year Awards Lifetime Achievement Award, and in 2023, she received the Greater Northern Lehigh Chamber of Commerce Spirit Award. Please sit back and relax and watch this video of Pat.
Hi, I'm Allie Frederick. I'm here with Pat Stewart, who is a new inductee of the Distinguished Alumni Association for the Parkland School District.
Patricia Stewart. My name's George, so it's Patricia George Stewart, and 1961.
What is your favorite Parkland memory?
Well, that would be 7th or 8th grade. Mrs. Padani was our home economics teacher, and we were going to make a blouse. And she instructed our students to buy a printed material. Well, my grandmother, who lived in Allentown, bought me material because we lived out here in the farmland, and it was mint green. I brought it into school, and she looked at me and she said, if you make one mistake, you're going to fail the class. Well, guess what? I made it, and I got outstanding. And I could wear it to school, and nobody knew I made it. The ones with print, everybody knew the girls made it.
Did you have a favorite teacher at Parkland when you attended?
Probably Mr. Seltzer. He was our math and accounting teacher. He instilled in me a lot of things that I used here today. And I even went for adult classes later on, and he remembered me. It was to refresh, and he was a good teacher.
How did you get started with your business?
Okay, this business was started by my grandfather in 1909. And when I was graduated and I worked at 2 other companies, and then when I got pregnant, I worked here, but not here, in my grandmother's house, which is over in that picture there, a little white house. And my brothers convinced me to work, so I did, but then I had the baby, so then I did the billing on a Burroughs-Sensomatic. It's like this, and it goes back and forth. It was a really cute thing, and I would try to beat my time, how many bills I could make in 30 minutes. And then my grandmother and her friend would stuff the bills, and then put the stamp on and seal it all by hand.
It must be amazing seeing like the changes in technology
that
happens here.
Not done with a computer. You put the stuff in, and the bills get made, and they're out. And it's like, okay, it's a lot different than we used to hand do everything. It's, and have those boxes where you put the things and take them to the post office, but we don't have to do that anymore.
What advice would you give to a future entrepreneur?
Okay. Select something that you like and are comfortable with, and see yourself in 20, 40 years at the same job or in a different one capacity, but you have to dedicate yourself to it, and you got to work hard at it and persevere. You can't give up. You may have some negative things that come at you, but you have to overcome them, and then you will succeed.
Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and talk to me about all your interesting experiences that you've had, and congratulations once again on being an inductee into the Distinguished Alumni.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking with you also.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to present 2024 Distinguished Alumni, Pat Stewart.
Okay. I'm going to have to read most of this. I read it 10 times, but I still don't remember. When you get older, I'll tell you in here how old I'm going to be. Okay, so background. He stole some of it, but that's okay. Growing up on a working farm with a large family, my parents, 2 brothers, and 6 sisters. Yes, your math is correct. There were 9 children. There is a 20-year difference between the oldest and the youngest sibling. So there's 2 sections, but anyway. Okay, we got up early, did our chores, fed the turkeys, and another family business, not the telephone company. Okay, we fed the turkeys, and we, like he said, we butchered them, and we also roasted turkeys for local customers and caterers. We even made and sold turkey barbecue. which my sister Sonia still makes today. And it's good. She makes it for the Heidelberg Church. Then my older siblings and I would walk a quarter mile to the bus stop and go to Parkland High School. Come home, do more chores. While our mother prepared dinner. After dinner, we would finally do homework. It was in these early years that I and my siblings developed our exceptional work ethic. As president and CFO of Ironton Telephone, I make all the major decisions regarding the company. Of course, I have the support of my sisters, my family, and the 50 loyal, capable employees who all take pride in doing their excellent jobs. What I learned, count on family and friends to have your back. I remember the good old days, no, I'm not young, of switchboard operators. Okay, now you know how old I am. And now we talk about moving forward with 5G and even 10G. Increasing upload and download speeds, enhancing cybersecurity, and using AI. I still don't understand that. Technology is even changing how we live and work. So you must keep up or become obsolete. You do that through education, not just in the classroom, but also in the workplace. Your days of learning do not end when you get your diploma. Believe me, I have had to learn how to navigate healthcare websites, government websites, and the payroll websites, and now with the two-step authentication, my hair is turning salt and pepper. I try to stay up to date on all the telecommunication industry through my membership in the various Chamber of Commerce and by my attending the conference held for the Pennsylvania Telephone Association. I am always looking out for the next new thing. At present, Ironton, like America, is working on the infrastructure converting our copper lines with a strong fiber network within our 17 square mile footprint that will last us through the next 100 years. So if you see the turquoise trucks in the area, they're ours. They're cute. Okay, what I learned, learning never ends. When I think of the classes I took at Parkland, my most were business related. However, math was my strong point. Numbers made sense to me. It is the reason I went into bookkeeping for our other family business, not the George Turkey Farm, but the telephone company. In 1909, my grandfather, William Butcher George, founded the telephone company, who simply did not want his Bethlehem and Allentown customers to pay the additional toll charges when placing their meat orders. Home economics was another, oh, it's on the water, I'm getting dry. That's what happens when you get old. Okay, where was I? I forgot. Home economics was another favorite class of mine. I learned to sew in 4-H and learned to make my own clothes. Although I put away my sewing machine to this day, I support all our local 4-H chapters of the Lehigh County 4-H Livestock Club. In fact, at the 2023 Greater Allentown Fair, Ironton Telephone purchased the Reserve Grand Champion Market Lamb for an incredibly happy 4-H'er, my grandniece, Cameron Fink, who also just happens to be the 2023 Allentown Fair Queen. So, you can see, farm life, dedication. What I learned, support causes you care about, and with time, talents, and treasures. I gained my foundation at Parkland, and the rest was on-job training. Today, I not only simply do math problems, but read and analyze financial statements. I no longer make my own clothes, but I still dress to impress and know that first impressions matter. You never know what you will learn here and use later, so stay open to the possibilities. I have always valued education and feel honored to be selected Parkland High School Distinguished Alumni by the Foundation. I support the mission and appreciate all the district has done over the years for me and my family. As I stated in my thank you speech at the Greater Northern Lehigh Chamber of Commerce Spirit Award last year, quote, I am not going to retire. My goal is to work at the telephone company until I am 100. And I know I'll make it. Thank you. Thank you.
So our 4 distinguished alums this year should really motivate you to go out and make a difference, and everyone watching this via live stream. I'd now like to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Mark Madsen, to close out the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. I know that you had a souvenir for all of our distinguished alumni. I was hoping that maybe Pat had a souvenir for you. I'd like to see you with the feed bag, the 100-pound feed bag. I have some severe doubts that you'd be able to move it 1 or 2 feet. So good afternoon, everyone, and on behalf of the Parkland School Board, Parkland administrators, staff, and students, I want to congratulate all 4 of our distinguished alumni this evening. I have a couple words prepared, but this is the first time I got to see the videos and to hear the speeches. Certainly, I reviewed the bios of those of you that were inducted. And I think even what I have written here, it's kind of summarized with just one word, and that's impact. You heard it in some of the videos, you heard it in some of the speeches, that the impact that this place has had on those 4 individuals. You heard all those different stories about teachers, mentors, family, people in the community. And then also the impact that they are now having on our community and in society. I think that really helps to just summarize the evening and summarize what the foundation helps us here do in the Parkland School District. So in 13 years that the foundation has been in existence, it's helped provide over $1.7 million in funding to our school system. I mean, that's a huge amount. And as the teachers in that video talked about, those things, they may seem small, and a lot of them are small grants, some are a little bit larger. They make a tremendous impact and a gap for us to fill every single year here within the Parkland School District. And we certainly are very fortunate, and we have a great community that's very supportive of what we have going on. I certainly want to thank our corporate sponsors for being here tonight, certainly St. Luke's for being our main partner sponsor, but the Butts Construction Company, I know we saw a few representatives here this evening, and certainly St. Luke's as Service Electric as well. One other group, just real quick to thank, and not only does the community come together for that $1.7 million, but each year our staff really comes to the table for the foundation. And every year the staff gets close and sometimes over about $40,000 per year to go back into the foundation through their annual giving campaign. So thank you for being here. You make a tremendous impact for our community. We want to thank and congratulate once again our 4 distinguished alum. I know that I stand now between you and some cocktails. And so certainly when we win, when Parkland does well, everybody does very well, and we certainly look forward to celebrating the rest of the evening with you at the Country Club. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for joining us tonight and helping us continue to be Parkland strong. Frank Mittman is over here. Frank Mittman Studio has offered his photographic genius for the past 12 years. And he's available to take photos tonight, so please have your photo taken. And we look forward to celebrating with all of you at the Lehigh Country Club. I'm putting my tab on the Ironton Telephone Company. The rest of you are on your own. I'll see you at the Country Club, everyone. Take care. Would all of our distinguished alums please come up? All of our distinguished alumni, please come forward for a picture.